You've probably heard there are many cultures that use chicken soup as a cure-all for the soul and for the body. Soups are about three things for me: bases, modifiers, and bits and pieces. I'm going to make a very, very simple soup. I call this one chicken, 60 minutes. It is a soup that takes exactly 60 minutes to make, as well as a sandwich we're gonna have on the side, and it takes one chicken. Now, I'm using a pressure cooker. It is essentially a time machine. Pressure cooker's going over high heat. I've got a whole onion here. It's getting bifurcated, cut in half. It's going skins on, right down into the bottom of the pot. Why? Because I want to burn the ever-living crap out of it. Why? Because that's going to produce flavor. Also into this pot are going to go some other aromatics. 2 ribs of celery, 2 carrots, and 2 leeks. These I'm setting aside. That is going in. Now, when I break down a chicken, I like to remove the wishbone in its entirety. That's gonna make cutting the breast meat off of the bird a lot easier, okay? The meat will tell you where to go. I'm gonna feel for the keel bone. That's the bone that separates the 2 lobes of the chest. And we're gonna slice right down one side of that keel bone. Then we're gonna basically peel the meat off of the ribs. And it's gonna be easy because we don't have that wishbone bugging us anymore. Now, this has got a lot of flavor in it. I want that in my pot. Now, we need this skin. We're gonna be cooking our chicken skin in a waffle iron. So we're going to work fingers underneath the fat and gently remove it. I wanna get the fat off of these leg quarters as well. And one of the easy ways to do that is everything kind of joins up here at the base of the leg. Kind of make a cut around that so that I can easily get in there and pull that off. Everything's going into the pot with the skin, which we'll set aside, and the breasts, all right? 2 quarts of water going in right now, 21 grams of dried mushrooms. I'm also going to add some peppercorns, 10-ish. Do you think I'm going to count peppercorns? No, my life is short. I am not going to do that. Bay leaves, member of the eucalyptus family, goes in. Now, it's important that everything be submerged, or as close to submerged as I can get it. And I'm going to put on the lid. You make sure that it's properly seated. You turn the handle until these 2 things line up. When this thing starts whistling at us, then I'm gonna back down the heat and maintain pressure. If this thing is whistling, the heat is too high. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it up to pressure and then time 30 minutes. Now, every single flavor that's in this pot is going to appear in the final soup, but I'm not gonna use any of the solids that are in here. So that means that we are going to have to make sure that we've got plenty of stuff ready to go. All my vegetation is ready. This is what will actually be the bits and pieces inside the soup. So right now, I want to get my waffle irons nice and hot because we're gonna make skin sandwiches. No, literally, I know you think it's weird. I'm laying that right inside the waffle iron. Now, let's talk about flavor modifiers. 1, salt. Soy sauce, shoyu, as we call it, is mostly salt. Acidity, represented by this lemon. The last one is heat, spice. I use something called sashimi togarashi, or red chili in Japanese. So right now is a good time to kind of check. Okay, we got the chicken skin working. That's gonna become a sandwich. Our flavor base is working. We've got our bits and pieces here. Our modifiers are on deck, so we're pretty good. At this point, I would maybe clean up the kitchen, or no, I wouldn't. I'd go make a drink. All right, I'm gonna get this skin out. We also want to harvest some of the fat from that skin. It's called schmaltz. We're going to need it to make the rest of our sandwiches. Now, that is going to be something that we brush onto the sandwiches. So, making the sandwich, this is how you do this. Piece of bread, white bread, trashiest bread in the world. Brush with schmaltz, schmaltz down. A little mayonnaise, carefully spread to the edges. Chicken skin, marjoram, a little mayonnaise on the second piece of bread. Place that on, brush on a little more schmaltz. Lid, wait. In removing, be careful, because there's gonna be a lot of steam. None of this food, that used to be an onion. Pressure is removed everything that it had worth giving. Make sure you get as much of that goodness out as you can. Stick that in a bowl and get rid of it. I'm just pouring it through the strainer, nothing to see here. This goes back onto the heat absolutely as quickly as I can get it on there. So we've got to get our modifiers in there. 2 ounces of the shoyu. I'm gonna go about half of the togarashi. 2 teaspoons probably of the lemon juice. I can always add more later. There. Well, good, we got 1, right? Thanks for hollering at me about that. Anybody know where I put my chicken? This chicken now gets cooked. The breast is the only part of the chicken we're actually going to be serving, okay? I'm just dumping it in there. and I'm gonna let it sit in there for about 5 minutes. Now, once that has been in for about 2 or 3 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding the harder vegetables. Garnish, celery leaves. So I'm just gonna take a few of those. I'm going to now pull chicken out. And the final things I'm gonna add are the celery and the leeks. This stuff cooks very, very, very quickly. So typically at this point, I turn the heat off. There is plenty of heat in that pot to do all the rest of the cooking that we need done. Now, there are a couple of different ways to shred up chicken meat. I typically just cut it up. And I want it just barely cooked all the way through. You could actually put the chicken in the bowl first so that you're ready for the soup to come down the line. That goes in. We'll cut the sandwich very quickly. 1 hour and 10 seconds. Wow. And I'm gonna hit it with a little more of that greeny right at the very end. Now you can clap, because that was pretty impressive.
Yay!
All right.
You go, Cupcake. You got this.